Hey everyone, it's Scott. Just had a funny moment trying to find my phone, and I realized it's my camera, right? So it's up there. Okay, here we are for another weekly check-in on my bariatric journey. It is Sunday, March 17th, and I have been on a bariatric journey for, it's been 83 weeks since I had the surgery. I've obviously been on the journey longer than that because before the surgery, but 83 weeks, and I'm down 1 pound this week, so that gives me a total loss of 137 pounds. So fantastic! I'm super happy. This week was a little bit of a challenge. You know, they say you should get off the scale and only weigh yourself every couple of weeks once you get past a certain weight. And I agree with that because the scale is so frustrating. Some days, like, you are up 2 pounds for no reason. Some days you're down 2 pounds, and obviously it's a combination of lots of different things, from water weight to what you eat to going to the bathroom to general exercise, and that can cause, fluctuations in weight. And of course, it's frustrating when, like, you are working so hard and going to the gym every single day and eating within my calories, tracking my calories, just see a gain on the scale. It's like so frustrating. But that being said, I know it's a process. It's all in due time, and I need to be grateful for where I'm at on this journey. I'm so grateful that I'm below my goal weight and, significantly below my goal weight, and completely have transformed my life from this miracle surgery. So that being said, I'm here to talk a little bit about a couple things this week. A couple things I want to tackle. Someone asked me about acid reflux a couple weeks ago, so I want to talk about acid reflux. And then I want to go in, obviously, to our weekly sort of updates on goal setting. If you're on a bariatric journey, you're considering a bariatric journey, or you just have some weight you want to lose, like, this is a good channel. We're going to talk about all kinds of topics related to obesity, to losing weight, losing over 100 pounds, belly off club, if you will, and tackling the challenging sort of mental struggle that comes with being overweight. So first things first, let's talk about acid reflux. Acid reflux is something that I struggled with immensely before the surgery, and I was on medication for it. Omeprazole was something that my general GP doctor prescribed to me, and it's something that is, for the most part, if you take a pill once a day, it basically eliminates acid reflux. But most likely, acid reflux is due to a poor diet and or overeating. So that was one of the reasons probably why I had it. Of course, untreated acid reflux can lead to GERD, can lead to other sort of, intestinal and stomach and, esophageal situations. So it's definitely something that if you struggle with acid reflux and you take, Tums or any type of over-the-counter medication for it on a regular basis, you should talk to your doctor about it, because it can lead to serious things, cancer and everything else. So you definitely want to check into that. But that being said, with the surgery, I was actually really surprised, because getting the surgery that I had, which was the bypass, the Roux-en-Y bypass, gastric bypass, it actually eliminates acid reflux for the most part. I know for a year after the surgery, I had to take a proton pump inhibitor like omeprazole. I think another one's pantoprazole. I don't know. It's pantoprazole. I can't pronounce it, but it's another proton pump inhibitor. And I had to take that for a year, but after a year, I was able to stop taking it, which is great, because if you look at the side effects of some of these medications, it actually is not super great. And of course, not every side effect is going to happen to everyone, but they're saying bone density situations and everything else, right? So it's always good to get off of a medication, I believe, if you can. So it was great to get off of it. And since I've been off of the medication and with the surgery, I have had very limited acid reflux, probably for a couple of reasons. One, because my piping is now routed down. I don't really have a stomach that goes up, and my esophagus connector before there's a flap there that's supposed to stop the acid from coming. Mine was eroded a long time ago before the surgery. So that now that whole piping situation is different, that helps with that. But also, my diet is way better now than what it was before too. So I would assume it also has a little bit to do with the acid reflux situation before, is because I don't necessarily eat a high carbohydrate, high sugar, high whatever diet like I was on before. So that helps. Now, a couple things I've noticed, like working out, or sometimes you still tend to like overeat. Of course, overeating today is way different than what overeating was like before the surgery, but there will be times where I feel like I need to have a Tums, just because I've got some like upset, like I can kind of feel some acid reflux going on. That's probably pretty normal. I should talk to my doctor about that, but I'm sure that's pretty normal. There was one time I had a Tums, but I probably didn't need to take it, but what the heck. So all in all, I'm super happy because I think that my acid reflux is basically gone, and that was one of the reasons why they approved the surgery for me, is because I struggled with acid reflux. But at the same time, also too, I want to mention too, like one time I was working out and like I like bent over forward, like to stretch my lower back, and like I felt like acid coming up my pipes that way, which I'm sure is really common. But so it's not completely gone per se, but it can happen. But either way, it is definitely good, and something that if you're considering or struggle with acid reflux, of course, talk to your doctor. But I do think that this surgery really helped me, and I hope that it's something that can help you not have to live with that, because it's really annoying, and it's really something that is not good for you. And although it may seem trivial, and of course taking those Tums and stuff, that the price of those is, they're not free, so it adds up, right? So it's good to just get that out of my life. So yeah, if you have any questions about that, leave a comment. I'd love to hear about your story with acid reflux. If you had it beforehand, if you had it after. I have heard that the vertical gastric sleeve surgery, where they slice your stomach, can lead to additional acid reflux. So just be careful if you already struggle with acid reflux to begin with, to make sure you look into that and you talk with your surgeon before you go through the surgery. Okay, what else is going on? I want to talk a little bit about some things that bring me joy in life. One thing I like to drink on a fairly occasional basis, maybe once a month, is kombucha. And if you've never had kombucha before, it's supposedly a miracle drink, right? It's got probiotics in it. It's brewed like a beer. There's no alcohol in it, although there are traces of alcohol in it. So if you are on a sobriety journey, you may not want to drink it because there technically is alcohol in it, but it's not enough alcohol to get you drunk. But that being said, I do like it because it's supposed to be really good for your gut health. And there's a local brewery in Evanston called Kombucha Brava, which I love supporting local businesses. And they have a lavender, passion fruit lavender or something like that kombucha drink, and it's amazing. It's delicious. It's fizzy, kind of like a beer a little bit, and it's refreshing, kind of like a soda drink. So it's really good. No caffeine, obviously. Obviously, everything in moderation, because I'm sure there's calories in it. Technically, kombucha is brewed with sugar, so you do have to be careful. Like, don't run out to the store and buy like kombucha aid or whatever that you see in the store, because that's got tons of sugar in it. I would recommend sticking with freshly brewed kombucha, especially kombucha where it's low in sugar. I asked them, like, what's the potential sugar content of this? And they said it's pretty low because the scobies that actually brew the sugar, that like it's like the yeast or whatever that brews it, eats most of the sugar. So the sugar is actually like taken out in a lot of ways, but it can be pretty potent with sugar. So just be careful. I know for me, I had to just have a sip or two until you know it's going to be okay. But this one's delicious. They also have another one that's like a ginger lemonade type thing. And ginger is another sort of antioxidant, really good for your gut sort of situation. So I love kombucha. I don't drink it every week, mainly because it's expensive, right? Anything that's homemade, or if you will, or made, locally is going to be a little bit more expensive. But I do have like a little like howler or whatever. I go in there like I'm going to a craft brewery, and I get my refills now and then. So definitely check it out if you're in the Chicagoland area, especially close to Evanston. Definitely check out Kombucha Brava. This isn't sponsored or anything like that, but I just love what they're doing. It's a local business, and I want to support their efforts. So definitely go check that out. Okay, so speaking of local things, I want to talk about my local TOPS group. So as you may remember, I've talked about being in a TOPS group for many, many years, and this group that has been around is called Sir TOPS. It was a men's-only group, and they have been around since way before I was born, probably the 60s or 70s. But Unfortunately, the group is kind of like coming to an end because the older gents in the group are getting past a certain age, if you know what I mean. And I just thought I've learned a lot of fantastic things from these men over the years. Non-bariatric stuff, more like just weight loss and mental health stuff in general. But they have a 50 tips that I've been going over each week, and maybe I'll read this for myself. Hopefully it helps you too, but I love to help you help myself, right? So these are just reminders. And actually tip number 4 is sip a beverage during your meal. So this is actually one tip that doesn't technically apply to the bariatric community, but I want to talk about it first from a bariatric situation, and I'm going to talk about it second from a weight loss in general situation. One, I think sipping water or not, diet soda or whatever you are, anything that's not super caloric or has a lot of sugar in it while you eat is a good thing because it helps fill up your stomach. Actually, I'm going to flip that around. I'm going to talk about normal stomachs first. So having liquid will help slow you down and help make you feel fuller and help you feel more, satiated during the process, especially if water or skim milk or something like that, where it's going to give you a little bit of extra, weight or, thing. But of course, now kind of switching over towards the bariatric community, you want to make sure you eat your protein first. Protein is always first and foremost, and then you want to eat your proteins like carbohydrates and dietary fibers, like all, kind of in that order. Actually, protein, dietary fibers, and carbohydrates in that order, right? And then you actually I was told to wait to drink something until like 30 minutes afterwards. And I think that's like more like when you're first had your surgery. I don't think that necessarily applies so much today, given that I'm a year and a half out. But that is a difference between what you would maybe consider for a traditional stomach versus a bariatric stomach. Now, obviously, keeping yourself hydrated with water and fluids is super important. It's probably something where I struggle. I should drink more just regular water, but I do drink a lot of fluids all day long. Coffee, everything else has got water in it. So I think that it's important to remember that when you're eating, you can pause and be mindful about what you take in. And sometimes that sipping of water or whatever is that moment of pause. It's not necessary for the water, but it's a moment to slow you down. Because I know for me, especially before the surgery, I was a super fast eater. I mean, my goal was to clean the plate as fast as I possibly could. So by reminding yourself to sip some water could be simply a tool for you to stop and slow down. Remember, okay, this needs to come in. This needs to digest. Do I need to eat this whole plate? Like, where am I at? Am I full? Am I hungry? Right? Because really, one thing I've always learned about losing weight is like you have to like sort of ride the hunger wave. You have to basically be a little hungry, and then you eat to not be hungry, to be a little full, and then you have to kind of go back and forth, right? If you overeat or undereat, that's when you find yourself in situations where it doesn't work out, right? So it's always good to sort of maintain a healthy in-out, if you will, in calories in, calories out. And sipping could be a way to help manage that. Or, if anything, being mindful about what you're eating, when you're eating, how you're eating. So I hope that's a tip you can use. This week for me, what's going to happen this week for me, I'm kind of getting back into the gym situation, mainly because the weather is starting to kind of like warm up a little bit. It's so hard to go to the gym when it's like 30, below 30 degrees outside. But now it's getting a little warmer, and I'm getting more back in my routine. I'm focusing more on, I think I've probably said this a few times, so I apologize if I'm repeating myself. I'm focusing more on just running right now and cardio. I am doing some weightlifting, but I'm only doing that at home. I'm not doing it at the gym, mainly because it takes too long between doing a 40-minute cardio session and another 40 minutes on the weights. It's like that's 2.5 hours at the gym. So for me, I've been breaking it up and kind of doing cardio in the morning before work, and then doing some weights here at home before I go to bed, or every other day. I do it a little bit here, a little bit there. It's just easier for me, and I enjoy that. I think it's kind of working out for me. I do believe it's really hard to gain muscle mass when you are in a calorie deficiency too. So that's something that I'm kind of working on with my course that I want to get out to you all soon. And yeah, that's kind of what's going on. I really have to say it's been a pretty good week for the most part, and I hope that you are having a great week too. And I just want you to know that motivation is everything, but consistency is key. And determination turns into motivation turns into consistency, and consistency turns into results, right? So just keep yourself motivated, knowing that no matter where you're at in your journey, all it takes is one step towards progress to sort of get you where you want to be. in your life and in your goals. And of course, Rome was not built in a day. I know it's a little bit of a cliche. It takes time. Unfortunately, if I could get you to lose weight overnight like that, it'd be a lot easier, right? But each little consistent things help you get to your way. If you're not tracking, you gotta track the calories. You gotta track your macros if you want at least calories though, because typically high calorie foods are low nutrition foods, right? So high protein foods typically have low calories for the most part, not everything. And of course, there's always you can always have too much of a good thing too. Sometimes it's easier for me just to track protein, right? If I track protein, I'm typically eating something pretty good. If I have something with 30 grams of protein, it's probably going to be something high in protein like chicken or fish, so on and so forth, right? So keep track of your calories, keep track on the scale, because if you can measure it, you can manage it. So that's it for this week. Please leave a comment if you like this video. Please let me know what you're struggling with in your journey. Please let me know if you're considering bariatric surgery or if you had bariatric surgery. I love to build a little bit more of a community here, so we talk about this and be sort of a weekly support group for us to help lose, maintain, and thrive as a community. So that's it for this week. See you next time.